Welcome. Oh, an interactive audience tonight. I like that, I think. Well, welcome. Today is June 14th, 2017. We are in the Cardinal Room. This is the second legislative meeting of the month of the School District of Upper Dublin, School Board Directors. I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight, and it's a special night for all of us. We are recognizing our retirees, and it's customary that I ask our retirees to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So, Ms. Perrone, would you please lead? Stand. Ruda, Lois is here, and Eileen is here. I think those are the four. Please lead us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I imagine you've done it once or twice before in your buildings. And Don, I'm sure you've done it too. Okay, so we're going to start off with roll call, please.
Mr. Shimeleski.
He's excused.
Mrs. Good.
Here.
Mrs. Hester.
Here.
Dr. Ludwig.
Here.
Dr. Kim.
He's excused.
Mrs. Rothman.
Here.
Dr. Resnick.
Here.
Mr. Sirota.
Here.
Dr. Levinowitz.
Here. Okay, seven.
7 present.
7 present, 2 excused absences. Okay, we are going to just make a small change in the agenda tonight. We're going to lead off with the recognition of our retirees. So Mr. Sigafus, Dr. Wheeler, and myself will meet up at the podium, and we'll do the special thing tonight.
Okay, I'm very honored to recognize our retirees for this year. Every year as we welcome our new teachers with new teacher induction at the beginning of the year, it sort of comes to full circle at the end of the year when we get to recognize those valued staff members that will be able to enjoy retirement after their many years of service to the school district. We have greatly appreciated your service, your time, the devotion that you really had to the school district and to the students of Upper Dublin and the community of Upper Dublin as well. Time that we know was spent from family and friends, and even those times when I know family and friends would, be asking, why are you grading those papers? Why are you doing that schoolwork? We'd like to go on vacation at the end of August, or how about early September? And it's sort of like, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. You really structured your lives in many ways around your profession, around the students of the school districts, and we thank you for that service and commitment. The process will be that I'll recognize each retiree. They'll come up. I'd like you to shake hands with our superintendent, Dr. Wheeler, and our school board president, Dr. Levinowitz, and myself, and we'll present you with a gift on behalf of the district, and then you can walk around the board table and shake hands with the school board as well. We'll have time for a photo at the end of the program, and we'll take a photo outside, a group photo, at the end of the program. So some of our retirees couldn't be here with us tonight, but I'm still going to recognize them for their years of service and recognize their retirement as well. First of all, we have Madeline Castone, who's an educational assistant at Sandy Run Middle School with 9 years of service. Madeline couldn't be with us here this evening, but I'd like that we recognize her service in her absence. Next we have Ruda Cologne. She is our French teacher at Sandy Run Middle School after 17 years of service to the school district. Thank you, Mrs. Cologne. Our next retiree is Donna DeFilippo, bus driver for the school district for 7 years. Donna couldn't be with us this evening, but again, I ask that we recognize her in her absence. Our next retiree to recognize is Carol Corbin, or Gal is her new name as well, elementary teacher at Maple Glen Elementary School after 17 years of service in the school district. Mrs. Gal, or Carol Corbin, couldn't be with us again this evening. Something came up to intervene, so again, I ask that we recognize her in her absence. Our next retiree is John McDonald, also a bus driver for the school district of 8 years of service to Upper Dublin. John couldn't be here as well, and recognize him in his absence as well. Next, we have Dr. Donna Perrone, our school psychologist, and she has committed 17 years of service to the district. Donna is here this evening, so please help me in recognizing her. Our next retiree is Mrs. Lois Tewksbury, elementary teacher at Jarretttown Elementary School, recognizing her for 15 years of service in the school district as well.
Still remember when you were the newbie.
Here you
Congratulations. Enjoy.
And our next retiree is Mrs. Eileen Welsh, elementary teacher at Thomas Fitzwater Elementary School, with 32 years of service in the school district.
We'll tell him you mentioned that. Congratulations.
Again, I'd like to thank all of our employees for their years of service to the district. If you accumulate and add up all of the years of service that they've contributed to the district, the grand total would be 122 for our 122 years of service for our retirees this year. Pretty impressive considering a small class of retirees. As I was speaking to the retirees at the beginning of the year, we think the reason for such a light year in this particular class is, when their district had a hiring freeze and there weren't as many contracted or teaching positions in the school district at that time. So I'll turn things over if Dr. Levinowitz or Dr. Wheeler have anything additional. Oh, okay. Very good. We ask that the retirees join us out in the hallway for a quick photo, and then we'll resume the meeting.
We'll take a quick 5-minute recess. Student Government Association representative, Ben Holzner, who will give us the report. End of year report, right, Ben?
Thank you, Dr. Levinowitz, and yes, it is. With today marking the end of finals, students prepare for their summer activities. Another successful year in the books, and rising sophomores, juniors, and seniors are waving goodbye to the graduates while preparing to welcome new freshmen next year. Aaron Glatter, the graduation class's president, helped to begin a great graduation procession. Our valedictorians, Danielle Stern and Josie O'Connell, also delivered fantastic speeches about relishing in the moment and reveling in the incomplete aspects of life, respectively. Dr. Levinowitz also spoke at graduation about forgetting remorse, or else you'll end up missing a lot of things you could have done. I believe that's the quote. Anyway, school year's over and summer is here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ben. I think Ben's going to leave us in just a few minutes. I think he still has some exams to study for, or?
No, it's a family event.
Family stuff, okay. Well, we look forward to seeing you when you get back, Ben. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Next on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Dr. Wheeler,
Good
Who's
evening.
ready?
Yes, because this is our last board meeting of the year, I thought it was incumbent to do a quick review, just a brief dip into our annual goals for this year, take a measurement of how we've done. There will be a more in-depth report presented at the end of the summer, the beginning of the school year. So I am intending just to do a brief overview this evening. As you know, this is the vision that has been driving our work for the last several years. With equitable opportunities, every Upper Dublin student will graduate college and or career ready. We have had a group of, a wide-ranging group of both administrators and teacher leaders working on how we do the work here in Upper Dublin. We are now on cohort 2 of Leadership Dynamics, which is the certificate course through the University of Pennsylvania, where we have provided training for cohorts of 20 either administrators, folks who do have positional authority, and also teacher leaders, people who we are turning to provide leadership from the ground up, if you will. Our purpose is to expand the repertoire of leadership here in the district and to deepen our leadership practice by tapping into those who have been hired to be administrators and also those who can lead within their buildings and in different initiatives that we are taking on. We understand that doing the work can be very complicated and complex. So as part of the Leadership Dynamics cohorts, and I also took this to our new teacher induction this year to get their insights, we worked on processing the values that we use that form the basis of our work and a process vision for leadership. What does leadership look like here in Upper Dublin? So we have developed 2 draft documents. We will continue to work with the faculty on fleshing this out. But at this point, the draft of our process values, again, what is it that we value as we do the work that we do? Empathy, which we understand to be understanding the feelings of others. Empathy is non-negotiable. This is the basis of what we do with our students and with each other as professionals. Empathy is non-negotiable and is the foundation for communication and collaboration. And we are emphasizing both of those, communicating internally, communicating externally, and collaborating internally and with our community members and our various stakeholders. And you will see later this evening a presentation on how that collaboration is playing out. That, we believe, will lead to trustful and trusting accountability. We trust what our folks are doing, and our folks trust what we are doing, resulting in improved teaching and improved learning. And ultimately, the outcome will be equity for all. Fair, impartial. Every student gets what they need, and every student is successful. So we're going to, again, continue to review these frameworks with our faculty and continue to work on this, and we will be reviewing this again next year. The goals, briefly, we had 5 overarching goals. On the website, of course, are the details of the objectives that go with them. Our first goal, excellence and equity for all. We are still waiting to get the end of the year data. We're waiting to get our results from our standardized tests, and that will, of course, be presented in the fall. But we believe that we have made significant instructional improvements across the board. We did implement our new English Language Arts ReadyGen and My Perspectives curricula. We have worked through refining schedules at the middle school and the elementary school. We completed our study on response to instruction and intervention. We have developed a plan for implementing that in a way that has fidelity and validity. So that is one of the major things that will drive our work next year, but there was a great deal of work done on that this year. Our gifted study, although it continues, I believe that we have made a great deal of progress in understanding how we will be identifying students, how we will be providing services for students. We have expanded our technology infusion, and our focus has really shifted to more design thinking about how it is that we do tasks and how we will structure instructional tasks to meet the needs of learners and to garner the interest of learners. We have reduced academic levels. We did 9th grade this year. We're moving to 10th grade next year. The indications are that this has been successful, both in academic performance and also in behavior. And we are very pleased with that. So we're optimistic moving forward. We have increased our mental health services and the availability for services at all levels. We are finding increased need, and we are moving forward purposefully to make sure that we are meeting those needs. I believe our work in personalizing professional development this year has been exceptional. And I attribute that to the expanding collaboration between our administrators and the IPD, which is our teacher PD group. We've done a lot of work in really determining what the needs are for our teachers and delivering that. And we cannot ignore the fact that our cultural competence work has expanded through our Excellence and Equity Committee work. And again, there will be a presentation this evening to flesh that out. So that really is a point of pride in the district. Finances. Our estimated fund balance, actually, our goal was $2.4 million, and at this point, our estimated fund balance stands at almost $5.2 million. Ms. Bray will provide some detailed information later this evening about this. We have, as you know, been enhancing our technology infusion and actually redesigning our workspaces and our learning spaces. We have successfully negotiated a collective bargaining agreement with the UDEA, which is another point of pride for us, and I think another example of the increasing and expanding collaboration with our faculty. Facilities. We have just finished year one with our new Director of Facilities, Bob Lester, and Bob has taken responsibility for reprioritizing our plans for facilities projects and preventative maintenance. So he has been focused on both of those areas, and I think that is benefiting the district extremely well. We had let some preventative maintenance sit off to the side, and now that has been moved to the forefront. Additionally, as the board knows, we have begun the preliminary planning for a Sandy Run Middle School improvement project. Last week, we had the first meeting of the Project Review Committee. We are beginning that work. We don't know at this point what the end will be, but we are excited that that is moving forward. Communication, community relations. A huge achievement for us this year was to successfully integrate board docs into the work of the board, and a prime benefit of this is that board policies and administrative regulations are very easily accessible to our stakeholders, in addition to seeing the completed and adopted policies and admin regs. Folks can actually get in there and see what the changes are that are being proposed, as our policy committee has done a tremendous amount of work this year on that. Comprehensive planning. A little bit of a hiccup here because the Pennsylvania Department of Education determined that they would delay the cycle of comprehensive planning reports by a year. We did not do a lot of work in this area. I will be attending another training session this summer, and we will launch into that next year, and that will be part of the goals that we present for 17-18. In sum, we have mastered or made measurable progress toward achievement of each of our goals and the related objectives. I'm very proud of the work that we've done. We laid it out clearly, and we have followed that path and that plan this year. The exception, of course, being goal number 5, delayed by the state. So moving forward, we continue our commitment to meet every student where they are and to provide for every student what they need. In September, a comprehensive report will be presented, and that will include, again, a more in-depth review of the achievement of the 2016-17 goals, proposed goals for 17-18, and the cabinet member administrators and I have been working on developing a 3-year outlook addressing the years 2018 through 2020. So that all will be coming in the fall. And with that, I conclude the report. If you have any questions, I will be happy to entertain them. Other than that, we're in good shape.
Thank you, Dr. Wheeler. Are there any questions from the board at this time? Okay, seeing none, Dr. Wheeler's taking her seat. I need to apologize again about the technology in this room. If you're not here often, you will notice that our screens look not as sharp or as they should be looking, but we do have good news. Mr. Vinogradov, I know we are getting ready to upgrade the equipment in here. You have to realize when we spec'd out the equipment in here, I would say it was about 8 or 9 years ago that the equipment was purchased. So we're not looking at state-of-the-art technology. Mr. V, do you have anything to say in terms of what we might see here in July or August, hopefully? And new mics, too.
Yeah. So
Yes.
the technology in this room reflects a commitment to the administration and the board and the faculty and the community being very mindful of our priorities. And so really nice technology in a boardroom is a nice to have. And we prioritize the need to have all the time. And so when I got here, and 2 years ago, and everyone was complaining, can you do something about the technology in this room? And then we got into the busy work and nitty gritty of finances and the district's needs and priorities. I said, it's a nice to have. How bad is it? And we kept on keeping on. And now you can see it's at a crisis point. So it switched. It's now become it's a need to have. And even in there, it's a priority. And so we are keeping all the guts of what we can. We're refreshing what we can. It is not, we're not going for a Lexus solution, but we're definitely going for a new Honda CR-V solution, and with improved functionality. And statement of work just came today, and I read it through and sent it back because there were little details missing, and if we're spending that money, we're going to do it right.
Good.
But I am looking forward to it. And an lapel mic just for you, Art.
Super.
Exactly, just for you. Yeah, because then he can't whisper, and it'll be fine.
I can't wait. I am so excited about the next presentation. So many of the board members here have been attending these committees and the steering committee for a couple of years now, I guess. And we can't wait. And we had a preview. We've seen the slide show, and I am thrilled that Ms. Morrison will present tonight on the Equity and Excellence Steering Committee.
Thank you, Dr. Levinowitz. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Wheeler, the board, and our administrators for all of the support and the countless hours of attendance and working with our committees on behalf of excellence and equity. As I started my career teaching for the Pittsburgh Public Schools third grade, one of the first things I learned is that read-alouds are not just for children. So I would like to take the opportunity to read aloud the mission statement of Excellence and Equity. The mission of the Excellence and Equity Committee is to promote excellence in all aspects of Upper Dublin School District, facilitating processes that remove barriers to access and advancement on the basis of race, gender identity, sex, sexual orientation, socioeconomic class, religion, or disability for students and staff. Excellence, embracing and exhibiting the highest level of quality in research, teaching, and service can be achieved when multiple perspectives are engaged. I'm not here alone tonight. I'm here with representation from our many subcommittees, and I would like to introduce to you the good folks who are going to be doing updates to the board this evening for their committee. So first, we'll begin with the recognition of Dr. Cynthia Ruiping Song, who's here tonight. Cynthia, if you could just stand up on behalf of the Asian American students and family. We have Mrs. Charisse Nelson and Mrs. Melanie Butler, who are here on behalf of the African American Black students and family. Unfortunately, Ms. Francelli Sanchez-Peck could not be here this evening, and so I will discuss her slides on behalf of the Hispanic American students and families. Here tonight for gifted and talented students and family are Ms. Amy Francek and Ms. Serena Benedetti. Here on behalf, not here this evening, on behalf of faith-based students and family is Pam Olszewski, whose children are ill, and she sent me an email of regret that she couldn't be here with us, but you can see that I'm the co-chair of that committee, so I'll be able to do those slides. Here representing LGBTQ students and family is Ms. Joanne DiGirolamo. And finally, here this evening on behalf of special education students and family is Ms. Meredith Penner. So I'd just like to begin with our 2017-2018 overall goals. And in line with Dr. Wheeler's goals, of course, communication is the focus. How can we open up the school, making sure that we have a video presence, brochure presence for back to school night? Are there opportunities for quarterly listservs? We would like to come and present a combined PTO, PTA to let them know all of the things that are going on. Something I'm extremely excited about is a student ambassadorship that we've begun at the high school, inviting students to be ambassadors for us, and we have over 80 students from 10th and 11th grade, that's 10% of each class, who are willing to come to Upper Dublin High School every day and be student ambassadors on behalf of excellence and equity. We are looking to, we've done this before, host a tailgating event this fall under the hashtag UDBetterTogether, which is how we all combined committees approach our work. We've done a lot of work with celebrating months for the first time ever. We celebrated Asian American Heritage Month and had a fabulous event that followed, looking for speakers. And then finally, and most importantly, we are looking to bring the community together on behalf of excellence and equity under hashtag UDBetterTogether in spring 2018. We already have earmarked a date, April 28th, I believe it is, so put it on your calendar. An opportunity for our community to get together, to understand each other better, to have the kind of deep conversations we need to have for the betterment of our local, state, and perhaps even national community as we learn how to share multiple perspectives on behalf of excellence for everyone. So I'll just go into the faith-based and neighborhood partnership briefly. It's our third year of celebrating Martin Luther King Day of service. Each year it gets a little better. We have more attendees. And it is a fabulous day to come out, not particularly to do service, but to learn about service and to connect to community organizations. We've partnered with our local synagogues to commemorate Yom HaShoah, and that works very nicely curricularly with the Genocide, Holocaust, and Human Rights Act passed by the Pennsylvania legislature a couple of years ago. And I have to say, on a personal note, when we began this excellence and equity journey, it came a little bit on the heels of an incident that occurred in one of our schools. And it was around a student who belonged to a particular faith-based organization with whom we didn't have a relationship. And it just recently came to pass that while there was an opportunity for the clergy from that faith-based organization to reach out to our building administrator to talk through some difficulties, and that opportunity came through relationship. And then as a result of that, Mr. Robert Schultz, the high school principal, and I were invited to speak at a community event. Many of our excellence and equity chairs were present with over 300 people. Again, a community event fighting racism and bigotry in our community, and I think that's very, very important. In terms of our goals, I'd like to see more increased community participation, more and diversified clergy. I want to continue with our MLK Day of Service in Yom HaShoah and continue to have speakers and events that promote dialogue and mutual understanding. With that, I'd like to invite up Ms. Melanie Butler and Ms. Cherise Nelson.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Melanie Butler, and I'm joined by Ms. Cherise Nelson. Hello. And we are the chairs for the African American Students and Families Committee. Our committee had a keen area of focus on two areas. It was engagement and achievement with the African American students and families population. Our goal was to engage the students in a meaningful way, to build their trust, engage them in terms of their areas of focus, engage them in terms of allowing them to have a comfortable space to share with us what it is they believe that they need, but also for us to see what it is and assess what it is they need so that we can further support them and offer equity and excellence. And in our doing so, we created several program enhancements this year, of which Cherise will share more about in just a moment. But to highlight what we were able to accomplish this year, we've had a new connections program. We held 3 committee meetings. We secured 20 volunteers to support the programs that we have outlined as a priority this year. We partnered with several facilitators who were volunteers, volunteer professionals, business owners, and executives at their respective companies to donate their time to serve our students. Engaged 9 sponsors and supporters, including local restaurateurs, to host events for our students so that we can get them out of the school environment someplace else and build their networking skills and allow them to display what it is we've been teaching in the classroom. Hosted 3 off-campus events. We had 1 field trip to the Montgomery County Courthouse sponsored by the Montgomery County Bar Association. And we explored themes of personal brand, team building, communicating with confidence, and emotional intelligence.
So the feedback that we've received from our students on the changes and improvements that we made on the Connections mentoring program were that 100% of the middle school students where Connections is new this year were glad that Connections was introduced in their school. 94% of the middle school students enjoyed the day-to-day sessions in Connections. 100% of the high school students that were surveyed think that the improved Connections was the best experience that they've had. We just graduated our first class that has had Connections since 9th grade. And then 100% of the high school students surveyed also responded that they want Connections to continue. So that to me is success right there. Our goals for next year, we want to continue to implement a fundraising and sponsor strategy. We want to make sure that we have the funds available to continue to have this program thrive. We're looking to double or even triple our volunteer base. We want to be able to provide 2 field trips. We had the one to the Bar Association, but we'd like to expand that for next year. And also to collaborate more with our BSU, the Black Student Union at the high school, because we are a group of passionate individuals with lots of resources, and we want to extend that to the students here in the high school and their student-run organization. Thank you.
And to close it out, one of the things that we did to commemorate this year is we compiled all of our event photos in a lovely book. The reason for this book is to explain what Connections is, how we are deepening the dialogue of not just race relations and or the performance of African American students, but the connection to community and the UD Better Together message. Our goal is to increase the amount of participation within the Connections program, but also to deepen the academic portion of an area of focus. So now that we've engaged you and we've answered the call to meet you where you are in terms of the conversations that you want to have, how about let's talk performance, EQ, handling yourself in the classroom, and a series of more. But I know that this book will be in rotation. Certainly feel free to take a look at it. This book will be, thank you to the curriculum office, in production, and we will have 10 copies floating around the district at the libraries, guidance counselor's office, and principals. So thank you very much.
And I did fail to mention that Ms. Cherise Nelson is, I'm sorry if you can't hear me, Ms. Cherise Nelson is also a 5th grade teacher at Thomas Fitzwater Elementary School and our newly hired assistant summer school principal, so congratulations on that. Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Song, who's going to be speaking on behalf of Asian American students and families.
Hi, everybody. So I still remember doing this last year, so I'm happy to... Oh, couldn't hear me? Nope. Okay. Okay. So I said I still remember doing this presentation last year. I'm glad I'm able to come back and then report some of the stuff we actually did this year. So we always say we, as this Asian American committee, is trying to be the bridge of the families and the school district because we're such different cultural difference. And then the goal is to serve the students. So here you can see it, but you probably couldn't see. But anyway, so it's like parents, students, and the school district. I would just like say some of the highlights. So around Chinese New Year, like actually my school came, like I went to 30 years ago in China, came here. Many of you went to that performance. So the Chinese Association sponsored that performance and our school district, and then we donated money to UD Education Foundation, and then we're trying to work with the school district, especially like Sandy Run Middle School, to have an after-school program, to start an after-school program for like a speech and debate club. So thanks to Dr. Wheeler, we're working on that. Hopefully we can get it started next year. So that's, I think, it shows the difference how UDCA has been around for 10 years, but I don't think we're more like focusing on ourselves, not really working together, but I think that's a big step we're taking. And then in terms of the students and the school district, this year when we had this, the first Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, we had a lot more student involvement, which makes it so much better because, you know, we get to hear the student voice, which is really refreshing to the parents and the district, what it really means to be Asian Americans. And so we are, you know, going to continue that involvement with the students in the Asian Student Club Association, and also we also try to do more with the enhancement period. So, the other thing is the school, again, like that came. We're trying to establish a Chinese exchange program, and then we've already, Dr. Wheeler already signed the intention of whatever. MOU, for that program. And actually, yeah, we already have found a teacher in high school that's excited to host this, and then we have parents in China right now working on the program. And so in terms of goals next year, we will try to have more conversation among the Asian American community, like graduate student with the parents, and then first and second generations, and different maybe Korean and Chinese and different background within the community to have conversations with each other. And also we found some exciting programs in Penn where they can have high school students to go out there for a program for 8 weeks on every Saturday to learn about Asian American culture and stuff like that. And also, so we will try to continue to promote the Asian Pacific American Month. And also next year, it will be the first year that we'll have the Lunar New Year off as a professional development day. It really means so much to our community because we, it's really huge. I just want to thank the board and the administration for making this happen. And and also we'd like to advocate for a Mandarin Chinese program as a foreign language program, because I truly believe it's really even more for really, not just for our kids, because when I learned English in China, it really benefited me who didn't have an opportunity otherwise. So I think this, even for future economic business opportunities, it would be very important for our students to have that kind of opportunity and exposure. So there are a lot. I'm very excited. There is so much that we are going to do that will make UD better together.
As I said earlier, Ms. Franceli Sanchez-Peck was not able to be here tonight. The highlights for 2016-2017 for the Hispanic American student and family was an opportunity to welcome a co-chair, Ms. Jeanette Soriano, and to talk about the importance of having a welcoming committee for new families of Hispanic American heritage. The goals for 2017-18 include a Hispanic American Student and Family Night as perhaps part of a welcoming committee, planning the first official meeting, discussing the importance of children and staff, learning about all of the diverse cultures, and diminishing stereotypes and building self-awareness. You can see in the corner of the slide, particularly to my left, there's a handprint, and it represents all of the different countries that encompass the Hispanic American community. And there are many, and they are very diverse. To recruit Hispanic American students for the ambassador program, I believe with 80 applicants with very diverse representation, and to discuss how to better bridge conversations with Hispanic and Latino community about pathways to college. So perhaps an applause for Ms. Peck, who's not here. And next, I'd like DiGirolamo to come up to speak on behalf of the LGBTQ students and families. Ms. DiGirolamo is a guidance counselor at the high school, a counselor at the high school.
Behavioral health counselor at the high school. So the LGBTQ, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, and questioning youth and their families are who we are here to support. On April 25th, the committee hosted our community event. It's called a World Cafe Harvest Evening. A World Cafe method is a format for hosting a group dialogue based on the premise that the knowledge is in the room. We really wanted to get feedback from our students, our parents, and our community, as opposed to us as a committee coming up with all the ideas. You set up a comfortable cafe-like setting with large group divided ideally into tables of 4. The groups were given 4 questions which had been created to build upon each other toward the purpose of the World Cafe. After each round, the tables share their insights with the rest of the group. As you can see in the one picture of the white wall, we were over in the media center. Each group comes up with ideas, writes a little sentence on a Post-it, and posts it under the question. Then the members change tables and move on to the next question. So it was really a nice way of everyone to mix it up, too. We had about 30 adults and, thankfully, 12 students. And it was interesting to ask the 12 students, who were actually very young, they were middle school and 9th grade, basically, to mix it up with adults that they didn't know. So it was a good learning experience for them. The end result of this is our list of goals for the next year. We're going to have our Action Cafe Harvest October 10th. I sent in the form to Sue Lohofer, so we're in. As you can see, a lot of this is generated by the students. Sandy Run Middle School has been talking about creating a gay-straight alliance club for the past year. Scheduling-wise, it's difficult in the school day, but they're going to figure it out. We are going to, as a committee, support the high school and the middle school GSA goals. We are not going to create a book, I don't think, but we're hoping to come out with a pamphlet this summer for staff, students, and community. We're going to create avenues to get out information to parents who are struggling with either understanding and or accepting their child's sexual orientation or identity. And part of that, what came up was that parents want to be available to other parents, not just professionals in the community. We're going to create and identify safe spaces in the schools. This is something that students identified. They don't know who the teachers are. They don't know where the spaces are where they can go and talk it out with someone who will understand and accept what they're talking about and feel comfortable with it. So we're going to figure out how to identify that in the schools. We would also like to include LGBTQ topics in assemblies at the high school and the middle school. An example of this would be when we have our bullying assembly and when we have our mental health assemblies at the high school, to make sure that the speakers include statistics, for instance, suicide rates for LGBTQ community. Make sure that you identify those details within the assemblies, and so we'll work that out with the speakers. And also inclusion of LGBTQ topics within the health curriculum, especially when they also are dealing with their mental health unit or their unit on sexuality. I want to make sure that they include those statistics, those topics, and make it part of their discussion. Thank you.
And now I'd like to call up Ms. Meredith Penner and Dr. Ian Sandberg on behalf of the Special Education Students and Family Committee.
Good evening. Ms. Morrison neglected to say that the co-chair from this last year of the Subcommittee for Excellence and Equity in Special Education, Mr. Frank Roccagrande, has stepped down for the next year. So at the present moment, Ms. Penner and I will be co-chairing the committee, and we are busy recruiting interested candidates to help us. So I just wanted to go over some of the highlights of this last year. Here are some collaborations with parents that we participated in on October 26th. We partnered with the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit to help families get connected with medical assistance, which provides, for those of you who don't know, a whole host of services for students with disabilities. November 17th, we worked with respect to, also with the intermediate unit, and we hosted the Transition Expo Resource Fair. It's pretty impressive. The cafeteria downstairs is very full of vendors. It's actually pretty neat. Whether you're interested in that subject or not, you can walk through and subsequently become very interested in all there is. On January 25th, we had our one board-certified behavior analyst, Ms. Ann Horrocks, co-present with some parents who are also BCBAs in the community. They talked a lot about bridging the behavioral gap between home and school. And finally, on February 15th, there was a book presentation, Kenneth Goldberg's book, Building Resilience in Children and Teens, that was facilitated by yours truly. And finally, our staff celebrated Inclusive Schools Week, the week of December 5th to 9th.
So we're in a really unique and I think lucky position in special ed that we have not only a subcommittee through excellence and equity, but also a full department at the district dedicated to supporting our students in special education programs, and a parent advisory group as well. So we're really looking to find our own identity as a subcommittee to try to balance and bridge the gap between those two groups and expand our work and how we can increase student participation as a piece of that. So there's a lot of common themes throughout the subcommittees, which is one of the reasons I think our steering committee groups where we all sit together are so beneficial, because a lot of solutions come from each other. So some of our goals for next year are very similar to some of the other speakers that shared already. We are going to continue with our special education speaker series. We surveyed a group of parents at our last speak meeting in May just to get an idea of what topics they have interest in, and we're going to be co-hosting those and internally having some of our experts in the district present. We are looking just to improve our communication overall with a lot of parents would like to be members of multiple of the subcommittees because they have interest in a lot of different pieces. So how can we do a better job on our website, on our listservs, and just online communication? We're really excited for the events for the hashtag UD Better Together and expanding just, again, the collaboration between our subcommittees. We had some student interest, too, as well for the student ambassadors, so I'm excited to see that list of 80, and hopefully some of our volunteers are on that list. We are looking for just increase of the exposure to disability awareness and ability awareness in the assemblies that we have in our schools, both middle schools and elementary schools and high schools, all different needs between mental health and just overall differences in acceptance. And then just continued participation and communication within our department, things that we can help facilitate and pieces of information we can take directly to our staff. So I guess I can introduce Amy and Serena for the gifted and talented students.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Amy Francic. I'm here on behalf of the Gifted and Talented Students and Families Group. We call ourselves GATE for short, so it doesn't exactly tie to that, but we're working on an acronym. I just want to first say thank you to Dr. Wheeler, to Ms. Morrison, for inviting us to join this consortium. This is our first year, so we are still building upon some of the energy around what got us started. I'd also like to say a special thank you to Dr. Miner. I don't know that we would even be standing here if it was not for her in terms of helping us to drive what we're doing. So thanks to all of you, and actually quite a few of the board members and cabinet members who've come to our meetings. A big part of what we did this year was to build a core group of stakeholders. So that consisted of parents, administrators, students, teachers, and we've met a couple of times and had some real success, or just having a dialogue about what it means to educate our students who are identified as gifted, but also those really high talent students who want extra, want more, need more to achieve their highest potential. And also for all students to have opportunities to find enrichment that will float every child in Upper Dublin higher. So that's really the focus of our group. We've talked a lot about development of some some new co-curricular programming, in particular a lot of energy around STEAM programming, the high school robotics program, elevating that to the next level. So we're going to be looking at moving that forward next year. We were fortunate enough to be invited by the Upper Dublin Education Foundation to participate in their Foundation Day, so we had members of the staff. Stu Parsons, our gifted teacher at Jarretown, came with some students and their puzzle cubes. Cynthia's son came and did his World Championships cup stacking. It was amazing. A robotics demonstration. Serena's daughter performed for us. So we are very fortunate that we have so much great participation and energy moving forward. We've also got a lot of initiatives happening in the district right now, all sort of at the same time. There's research happening at the EAC around gifted education. There's a gifted review committee that sort of just wrapped up its initial round of work, and our team here on the consortium. So I would just say, if you have any questions or interest or comments for us around gifted education or educating our students with enriching activities, come talk to us. And and one last thing. Thanks also to Dr. Miner for spearheading a couple of things that I think are going to really transform the work of the district and help us to bridge between parents and students and families and the administration. The STAR adaptive testing, which she's talked about at other meetings, to give us a real snapshot of who those high-flying kids are, and maybe kids that have been flying under the radar that we need to be identifying. And also we had 4 participants from the elementary schools in Math 24 competitions this year. So exciting work ahead. And that's what Serena's going to talk about.
Thanks, Amy. Goals for 2017 and 18. So we want to continue building on this community that exists and continue to harness the energy by building an enthusiastic and willing community of parents, communicating through a listserv and through hosting events. Ideas include presenting speakers, hosting student-focused activities. We will participate with joy in E&E UD Better Together events, and I would also like to add my thanks to the members of the other subcommittees with whom it's a sincere pleasure to work and share knowledge and resources. It's really very exciting. Continue to support robotics programs in the school district. Build an elementary school coding program to feed into the Sandy Run Middle School's existing team. That should be very exciting. We really need to feed that, and we look forward to helping to do that. Continue collaborating with Dr. Miner on the Gifted Review Committee follow-up, and we're considering hosting a series of staff breakfasts as a thank you to the teachers, and we would also like to host a parent event in the fall of 2017. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much to all of the committee chairs. Welcome, hearty welcome to Dr. Sandberg as a new committee chair. And I guess I want to end by saying our work has been acknowledged by the Pennsylvania Association of School Administrators and Pennsylvania School Board Association. We will be presenting at the School Leadership Conference this October. I would like that to be a presentation from all of our multiple perspectives, certainly led by Dr. Wheeler, and very much looking forward to sharing our work, Excellence in Equity, One District's Journey to Partner with Our Community. I hope that all of our work is a contribution to help us have positive discourse, to understand each other, and to get hashtag UD Better Together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Morrison. Questions or comments from the board? None? Okay. Of course, you know how excited I am that we were approved to present at PASA PSBA Leadership Conference. They receive many, many applications every year, and to have been accepted is a great honor, I think. And I know many of the board members will be there, and we're really, truly looking forward to the presentation. We're excited. And again, we can't do this alone. So we'd like to thank everybody who's on the subcommittees and not only the co-chairs and the chairs, but everyone else that takes the time out to meet. And it's UD Better Together. So thank you very much for your support. Okay, we have one last presentation tonight, which is the last presentation of the 17-18 School District of Upper Dublin budget. We've had numerous presentations throughout the year. We've had presentations done in our Finance Committee, summary presentations done at legislative meetings, and tonight, with the board's approval, I hope, we have the obligation tonight to approve a final budget. Ms. Bray.
Thank you very much. And yes, it's finally here, June the 14th, final board action on the 2017-18 budget. And what remains to be done, some signatures. PDE 2028 will be filed with PDE, posted, and also on EMMA. EMMA is an electronic municipal market repository where all kinds of governments and actually companies post their information on budget. So we're taking a look back as of June 5th. We will see that moving through, we always start with last year's fund balance, nearly a year ago, and our projected uncommitted ending fund balance as of June 5th was $5,194,527. And you'll note at the bottom, as usual, we've been pointing out that we have other monies that are set aside, committed by the board. Looking again at 2017-18 estimated fund balance as of June 5th. At a year from now, we were expecting about $2,109,484 to be in the general fund budget. Note that we were planning on transferring $1,738,000 to capital reserve. So we'll only have a few changes tonight as we enter into the final portion of the budgeting process for 27-18. And just want to remind everyone, if revenues decrease, the fund balance, the bottom line decreases. If revenues increase, of course, the fund balance increases. If expenditures decrease, it's the converse. Fund balance increases, and if expenditures do increase, our bottom line at the end of the year would decrease. After consultation with our attorneys and our independent auditors, we decided that we needed to actually record a refund of a tax payment of $131,895. This is related to an assessment appeal that's been ongoing for several years. We refer to it as the hub, and there's some confusion about a repayment. We plan and budgeted every year that $550,000 would need to be repaid to the 4 owners of 4 parcels related to hub. This year, or as of June 15th of 2015, one of the parcels sold, and the new owner insisted on paying $131,895 in taxes in the fall. However, according to our solicitor's office, as well as the opposing counsel that we worked out the agreement with, this money will need to be refunded. So we are we will be actually taking this out of income and putting it on the balance sheet, hence decreasing our estimated fund balance as of right now at June 30th in just a few weeks to just slightly over $5 million. Perhaps that's more of an accounting description than most people care for, but that's what it is. So that's the last adjustment for 2016-17. Looking forward, though, to next year, we've said every meeting that we will continue to look at assessment changes. And during the month of May, we had a very positive assessment change. Down in the Fort Washington Office Park, which is often a topic of conversation regarding assessment appeals, a brand new facility opened at 525 Virginia, and it's Lifestyles Fitness, and it is, or Lifetime Fitness, excuse me, hit our books, our assessed value at over $13 million. So that's estimated to bring additional revenue to the district next year of $447,000, which is good news. At this point in time, though, we are recommending that we transfer that money to the capital projects next year. We have been talking about quite a bit, and there'll be more conversation about Sandy Run Middle School. So if we transfer that money to capital projects next year, this block of money, and we always talk about budget being building blocks, this adds capacity within our current budget to help fund that project in the future. So while our fund balance is a little bit south of where it was the last time, actually by $131,000, the news is all very good as we move forward to the vote tonight on the budget. So again, we're estimating our fund balance currently for the current year to be down $131,000 due to that accounting change. And eventually that money will go out the door, though. And then, again, looking at next year to be being slightly under $2 million. Again, not including nearly $1 million for assessment appeals and $1.1 million for a rate stabilization fund for our health care insurance. Now, since I was talking about that additional transfer of $447,000, perhaps we would like to take a look at the amount of money that the school board and the school district of Upper Dublin has been setting aside. So the first line, we have the capital projects balance. And every month within the treasurer's report, there's information reported on the balances in capital projects and the debt service fund, as well as the general fund. And as of May 31st, we had $3,944,000 in our capital projects fund. And at our June 5th meeting, the board approved transferring $1.4 million into that fund, leaving or accumulating an estimated fund balance at June 30th of $5.4 million. Moving forward next year, we have transfers currently budgeted of $2,185,000, and it's an estimate. All of this is expenditures of $500,000, and as is noted, for bus purchases for the next year. There could be other projects that the board approves as we move through 2017-18, but the bottom line is we still are looking at $7 million at the end of next year, which will be helpful as we move forward with not only the project at Sandy Run, but we all know that there are other projects that need to be worked on and developed at our other buildings. We still have some things to consider, even though it is time to take the vote. Final reconciliation for the Bucksmont Insurance Consortium or Healthcare Consortium. You may recall that last time we discussed that nearly a $600,000 payment will be due, but perhaps when the final reconciliation is done in August, maybe the amount won't be quite as high, but conversely, it could be higher. So whatever that amount will be, will have to be paid and credited to 2016-17. Confirmation of 2017-18 Commonwealth funding. While this board and all school boards must pass a budget by June 30th, the Commonwealth has a little more flexibility. Now, they did release numbers last week that basically indicated we would still be receiving our 2017-18 amounts of money fairly close. I think it was $75 difference for basic ed funding, not a lot on a $100 million budget. But we may be receiving more in special education for next year. Still don't know. And the last point I'd like to make is that we have a number of assessment appeals that will fall both positively, that is, generate more revenue and more one-time revenue, as well as we have some that we're going to have to make refunds during the next year. So I believe that's it for the final budget presentation for 2017-18.
Okay. Before I open it up to the board, do you have an estimate of the 2.85 transfer to 2.185? Does that include the additional $447,000?
It does.
It includes the debt service drop-off
Yes.
and bond refinancing.
Very good.
Those are the three components of
yes,
the two?
You are
Okay.
absolutely correct.
Okay. Just interest rates have gone down significantly. Well, long term they did. Long term has gone down. Today they increased it, but that's short-term mostly takes effect. If you look at the long-term, the 10 and the 30, both of them were down today.
Today's rate change has been anticipated, and it's
Yes.
believed that the market has basically already adjusted itself. And you're quite right. I talked with bond counsel, with our financial advisor last week, and for general obligation bonds, the rates are settling nicely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me open it up to questions from the board. Dr. Ludwig?
On slide 11, does that include the debt service fund?
It does not. That's
Okay, so
simply
that,
the
then we
capital
also
reserve.
have that one.
Right.
We also have $2.4 million in a debt service
Okay,
fund. Mhm.
just
Correct.
making sure.
Yes.
Good point. Mhm.
And again, we don't go through the amounts that are reported every month in capital reserve and the debt service fund, but it is part of the treasurer's report each month.
Other questions from the board? Okay, Dr. Resnick.
What have you budgeted in terms of revenue corresponding to new construction projects ongoing in the community?
The amount of the assessed value has been increased to what it was at the end of May.
Is that based on settlements up to that date?
It's based on settlements and recording of all the different projects at the Board of Assessment at the county.
Yeah, it does not include any settlements that will occur between now and the end of next school year, which we anticipate to be a few, more than a few. We
For
project,
example,
but we don't want to project in the budget. It's better to have that when we know we have
be a
it.
positive variance.
Right.
The problem is, or one of the problems is, whenever you make assumptions on all of these type of situations, we've had conversations, certainly at Finance Committee, about how quickly, for example, Drescher, or the Regency, would sell out. And as of the end of May, we've accumulated exactly 25. So we will continue to monitor that. We know about some other developments. Again, we've talked about that at our Finance Committee meetings, and the positive.
Mm-hmm. Right. It is difficult because even if you look at the Regency, and if, let's say, they've sold 40 homes, they've settled 25, we don't know when those settlements could be, so it wouldn't be a full year of money that would come into the district. So that's why we're conservative with those estimates.
We certainly always are, and that always plays very well with Moody's or Standard & Poor's as we are thinking about credit ratings down the line. Just to circle back a moment to a comment Dr. Levinowitz made, nearly a year ago, or at least a good 9 months ago, we started discussing 2 separate bond refundings. And we did one of those, and it settled in January, and which was quite successful and yielded a nice savings. There was supposed to be, when we started discussion last October, a second bond refunding, which would be much smaller savings. But there's been a time when we basically just watched all of this savings dwindle. However, that's coming back into the picture, so we may be coming back in August or so to start perhaps discussing another major significant refunding, which would translate into savings.
Okay. I see no other questions from the board. It is now time for community input. 4-minute limit is in effect tonight. Please state your name and where you reside in the township. And we will begin now. Anyone?
Yes, good evening. My name is Domingo Tubio. We live in Charlottetown. And we had a very nice event here at the school, June 3rd, celebrating the Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. And I'd like to thank those of you who could attend, Dr. Wheeler, Dr. Levinowitz, Dr. Kim, and Dr. Morrison. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. I just wanted to mention, for me, one of the most touching parts was hearing these students give some very very open and honest speeches about how it felt to be perhaps the only Indian American girl in class or the only Asian student in the classroom. And it really opened my eyes to how some kids can really feel alone or isolated. So I just want to come up here tonight to thank the board and thank the administration, thank our teachers and volunteers for all of the efforts at inclusion and how much that must mean to these students and how we're all better for it, UD together. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Seeing no one else approaching the podium, we will close community input. Thank you for those comments. I think the highlight of that day was no doubt, the incredible words coming out of the young men and women that spoke representing our high school. They were unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, we are ready now to move on. Any announcements or communications, Ms. Bray?
There are no announcements or
Okay.
communications this evening.
We have one set of minutes to approve.
Yes, we do. The minutes for May 8th of 2017.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the May 8th, 2017 minutes?
So moved.
Ms. Good, second.
Second.
Dr. Resnick, comments, questions, edits? We all had an opportunity to review these minutes prior to tonight. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you very much. Moving on to the Education Committee, curriculum recommendations. Dr. Ludwig.
There are 13 motions in the curriculum area for tonight. Most of them were discussed at Education Committee meetings, so I'm going to take all the ones that were discussed together, and that would start with B, C, D, E, F, H, I, K, L, with one little addition that the FBLA conference in Anaheim will not require district transportation, and M, and all those have already been discussed.
Second.
Okay, we had a first and a second. Comments or questions? Okay, we are moving forward. B, C, D, E, F, H, I, K, L, M. It looks like Dr. Ludwig concurs with that. Okay, I get it right? Okay, all those in favor, please say. Were there any comments or questions on those items? Okay. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
So then I'll address each of the other ones separately. The A is the Drexel Close School Partnership. That was discussed at an Education Committee meeting the beginning of May, but right now the contract has been added and people should have had a chance to look at that. So I would like to move that forward.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Rothman. Again, it's something else I'm very excited about. It's the entrepreneurship program. Looking over the materials we receive from them, it's very difficult. It's demanding. The requirements for the students, they do require certain SAT grade levels, and we did fill the class, Ms. Morrison.
We have 9 students who are registered. The close school has worked very well with us. However, when they turned to the big Drexel University processes, we got a little stymied. As a result, we weren't able to communicate with students with the same effectiveness. But Mr. Vinogradov and I will be teaching that course this summer. And we really wanted to make it happen for the first time so we can build on it in the future. We're looking at it in terms of a blueprint for what does entrepreneurship and those skills, what does that mean for our students and their futures. So we have nine unbelievably well qualified, interesting, diverse, innovative students, and we're very much looking forward to it.
I just want to acknowledge the students pay a tuition.
So there is no tuition for the kids.
There's no tuition.
They do have to pay. Drexel asks for a processing fee for the application, and includes a waiver, one-page waiver, no questions asked if you don't want to pay the fee, which is nice. But they do receive 3 credits from Drexel for completion of the course. And I wanted to add that Drexel does set a very high bar. And this was an opportunity that came to us very late. And so we said, we have nothing to lose to see, but everything to gain by learning together with the kids. And so we set a very high bar in the application. And in the application, just so that it's on the record, in a week turnaround time, we asked the students to pick an artifact, something they had created from their learning, that spoke to their capacity for innovation, collaboration, presentation, failure, and execution. And then they had to share that artifact and then write a reflection about how that artifact demonstrated all those components. And then jump through all kinds of hoops, like go to guidance, get your transcript, submit it all in a Google folder in a public URL. Like there were a lot of steps. And so for those students to turn around that fast, and then Ms. Morrison and I had the delightful opportunity of interviewing these kids. And each one, you're just like, oh my God, you're precious. So it's going to be a great summer.
We look forward to it. And again, if the community is unaware of this, our two instructors for the class are doing this gratis. They thought this was such an important program to start in Upper Dublin that Ms. Morrison and Mr. Vinogradov have agreed to do this program without any remuneration, and we do appreciate that. And I know many of the board members will be dropping in, and maybe we can audit. I need 3 credits now. Okay. Are there any other questions on item A?
No, I really appreciate the opportunity this gives our students, but I do have one question about, after reading the agreement, will the students who participate in this have the opportunity to take any other Drexel courses?
We are currently, the answer is yes, and we're currently in conversations around the other courses. Again, if you know, the agreement dates are just for the summer. So we will look to next year to further our work.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we had a first, we had a second. Okay, this is item A. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
So next I would like to take items G and J, and if Dr. Miner could explain what those two are, I'd appreciate it.
I don't know how this microphone works. Same. Just touch it.
You're on.
You have to eat it? Oh, okay. Can you hear me now? Yes. There we go.
Yes.
Okay. I really do have to get very close. Okay. So item G is the purchase of Faunus and Pinnell benchmark assessment systems. As we were going through our LLI training and preparing for response to intervention and instruction next year.
LLI?
LLI, Leveled Literacy Intervention, thank you.
Thank you.
Our Tier 3 intervention. In conversations with the reading specialists, we realized that we have incomplete sets of this assessment in our buildings, and so the $2,316 that we're requesting is so that we have full sets for the reading specialists to use this as an additional assessment for our students. And then the item J, the guided reading professional development. As you know, with the adoption of ReadyGen, a large component of ReadyGen is small group instruction, and we are looking to provide our teachers specifically with a very intensive training around guided reading so that they can best deliver that program. So this request is for K-2 teachers for that guided reading training on the November 7th in-service. I will come back to the board late in the summer, early in the fall, and ask for a similar date for grades 3 to 5 in the February in-service. But right now I'm just asking for the K-2 training.
Okay. So motion was made.
Motion's made. Second.
Second, Ms. Rothman. Comments or questions? We're looking at items G and J under the Education Committee. Okay, seeing no.
I have one.
Okay, sorry, Mr. Sirota.
I just want to clarify. I believe I'm correct when we saw the curriculum budget at the Finance Committee meeting like last December or January or something like that. This was not in there, right?
The professional development was in there as responsive PD, ReadyGen PD, so that was in there.
Okay.
The kits were not in there. I wasn't aware, although there was just general money budgeted for materials, so that would fall under the general budget for curriculum materials in this case.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, seeing no additional questions, all those in favor, items G and J, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, we do not have a motion in the Education Committee for Technology, although we do have a significant motion, couple of motions tonight, on the operations. We're looking forward to hearing about.
Student activities.
Okay, moving on to People Services now. Okay. People Services.
I can.
You want to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, sir. Ms. Rothman.
Okay. We have, there's 5 sections, A, B, C, and D tonight. Under B, we have 5 service agreements. I won't read them since they're printed there. Additionally, under D, we have 2 educational agreements. So I'd like to take all of the pupil service recommendations together and make a motion for them.
Okay, motion made. Second?
Second.
Okay, Dr. Ludwig, any comments or questions on the People Services recommendations tonight? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Moving on to operations, Mr. Sirota.
Thank you. We have 2 motions tonight for operations. Both of them were discussed at the Operations Committee meeting last month. So I would like to move that we approve both of those.
Okay.
Second.
First and second, was that Ms. Good? Okay, thank you. Comments or questions? We discussed these in depth.
Right. There were some open questions on the telephone system upgrade. Mr. Vinograd, did you have anything you want to chime in on to answer those that we need to know?
So you asked some great questions, and some of those questions, we're on the number of phones, given that the technology is very different, provides us with a lot of flexibility. Next Tuesday, I have a district-wide walkthrough, which will be a great accounting exercise, and at the end of which we will have a better sense of what phones do we not need, what would be redundant. That's going to invariably be offset by some unanticipated expenses we have, which is one of the other questions. Once you go to a VoIP system, if you lose power, you also lose your telephones, unless you have adequate backup power, and so that evaluation will happen. I wouldn't be surprised if we have to make some additional small purchases there with respect to backup power or generator and or battery. Yeah, and a little UPS thrown in, right? You did your reading, good. I didn't want to get technical, but that's what'll happen, right? And so so that work will happen next week with the stipulation that we don't want to exceed that number.
Thank you.
Okay. I think the question was also asked, the timelines for the install.
So the reason that we're moving on this now with the, here is a quote and not to exceed, is really so that we could do an August installation. It would be ideal not to do an installation in September. That's pretty disruptive.
Yeah, I think it's really important that we try to have it done before the staff returns.
Yeah, absolutely. Installation process can take 2 or more weeks, and that would be disruptive, and also would affect student safety.
And I figured there is some training.
Yeah, it's a new
webs.
phone with
Yep.
lots of new buttons.
Yep.
There will be training involved.
Yes.
That's
Yep, that's what I worry about.
And all we have to do is, we do it all the time, right? And it's just a software update. It comes to your phone, you press that button, and the next morning you look and you're like, oh no.
Oh no.
It's a little different, yeah. And so that's okay. We're conditioned to expect new things out of our phones.
Yeah, but let's just make sure everyone is aware. It's not just sort of a new phone, but it's a new workflow. It's a new process. It's not just which button do you push to do the thing you used to do. It's how do I do the thing I used to do?
Right.
I do that differently now.
And for the majority of our faculty, it'll be very similar. It's really training for our front-end office people and administrators, and they're the biggest challenge. We all know that.
Okay. Absolutely. Okay. Yep. Okay. So under operations, there are 2 items. We had a first. We had a second.
I didn't catch the second. If you could.
Second.
Second.
Dr. Ludwig. I believe.
Dr. Ludwig, I think.
Oh, no,
did
It was
Vanessa.
good.
Vanessa
Good.
was good, and they did the second.
This is good.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. I see no other comments or questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. Moving on to finance. It's a good thing that our alphabet is long.
It is long.
A through X.
We have 11 pages that goes A through X. I don't know if we've ever gotten to the end. I'll take it line by line. Not really. Not really. But I am going to break it down a little bit. And the motion to accept the vouchers on A, the treasurer's report on B, and the student activity account trial balances under C. I'll take those together if I could.
Second.
Okay, second, Dr. Ludwig. These are for items A, B, and C. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
I'd like to hold D temporarily. Okay, you have to go in order?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
There are motions after this that are dependent on D passing.
Okay. All right, we'll take D. D is the motion to approve the final 2017 to 2018 budget and funding resolutions.
Okay.
Second.
We're just doing D?
Yes.
Okay. We had a second by?
By me.
Okay, me?
Mr. Saruta.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions?
I just have the comment that I had argued for a lower tax increase of 2.19 as opposed to
2.29.
2.29. I didn't hear anything tonight in Mrs. Bray's presentation that swayed me from that. Actually, it just gave more credence to that. So I won't be supporting the motion that I just made.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, I'll make a comment too.
Sir.
I just want to. I do support at this point the 2.29, even though I didn't support it before. I recognize the value, especially the value equation in terms of the value of the school district relative to other school districts, and the value in having our increase as low as possible. On the flip side, we have made a commitment over the years. Commitment may be too strong. We have expressed the intention over the years to reduce the percentage of the tax increase year by year, and we've successfully done that since 2011, I think. My only caution is that the lower we go, the harder it is to maintain that. So there's just less room to go down, and we don't know what will be brought to us in terms of state budgets, pensions, medical expenses, or other unforeseen circumstances, interest rates, et cetera. And we know we do have big projects coming. So it is still, I still believe in that intention. I would still like to make the tax increase lower as expressed as a percentage year by year. But having it at this point, which is a big jump down relative to how we've been jumping over the last several years, just makes that more difficult in the future. And I just want to raise that caution.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on that? Dr. Ludwig?
I'll just give my comment that I had given at the time when we discussed this before, which is that I do support the tax increase as we have it in the final budget, because I think recognizing the arguments that both of my colleagues have made, that the finances in the district, especially with some of the development and other things that we hope are going on, even though we haven't built them into our projections because we like to be conservative, we do hope that some of those things come to pass. And I think that although we have a lot of facility work in our future, we also want to at least make an effort to lower the tax increase and give some of that back to the community.
Okay. And my last comment on that is last year the increase was 2.79, in case you forgot. This year it's 2.29, so we went down 0.5%. The Act 1 index is 2.5. Many districts in the state will tax at least the Act 1 index. I think in addition to whatever project we decide on at Sandy Run, it's critical that we do not that we need to look at the capital project list that was done in 2014, I believe, and I know we've been checking items off on that list over the years, but I think we need to revisit, check off the items that we've done. The security in every building I know was costly. the boilers, so there are quite a few items that we've done, but there's still items that we haven't done yet. And I think we need to, to look at those and start prioritizing over a long range which items we'll be doing over the next few years, not only Sandy Run. Okay, so this is item D, and I don't see any other comments or questions. All those in favor of D, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
One, me.
Okay, Dr. Resnick voted no. Okay, moving on to E. Whatever.
Yeah, so I will take E and F together. E being the Farmstead Exclusion Act. F, the budgetary transfers that were recommended. And G, agreement with Communication Solutions.
Okay, Dr. Resnick's moving forward. E, F, and G. Made the motion.
Second.
Second, Dr. Ludwig. Any comments on E, F, and G? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay.
Okay, you'll see that most of the subsequent recommendations have to do with supplies, and we see these pretty much every year. And I would take all the supplies together. That would be H through
R.
R. Yes, H through R.
Okay, this is general operating for the district at this time of year. We're approving the bids.
Second.
Okay, is there a second? Joan, Dr. Ludwig, any comments or questions on any of these bids? Seeing none, this is approving H through R. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Okay. Motions S through V have to do with renewal of insurance policies, and we see this every year. And Mrs. Bray has told me there's nothing especially new in any of this.
Right, and nothing extreme, nothing has changed significantly. Some have remained flat. A couple have gone up slightly. Okay, motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Ludwig, this is S through V. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay.
And W and X, W being in agreement with Wordsworth Academy to purchase food service, and X is recognizing donations for the school years 2016 to 2017.
Second.
Okay. Comments or questions on the donations? We're good?
I have a
Okay. Mr. Sirota?
about the Wordsworth Academy thing. I believe that this is a new agreement, that they have not purchased food service from us before. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And do we have any similar agreements with any place else? Do we provide currently food service to anybody else, or have we in the recent past?
We are not providing food service to any other building or school. We have in the past, we had a relationship for 1 year, I believe, maybe 2, with Our Lady of Mercy, where we were providing the school lunches there.
Okay, is this a net zero sort of agreement, or are we making money on it?
There's a profit motive. Remember, the food service fund, the enterprise fund is allowed. It's more of a commercial for profit. So we're hoping, and we will have revenue greater than our expenses.
Thank you.
And just one other thing, this is done in many districts. It's a standard form from provided by PDE, and we did have our solicitor review the agreement as well.
Dr. Ludwig?
Just in looking at that agreement and in the statements from food service, it seems that although for a few years we had some negative balances, which we had to subsidize from the general fund, that our food service is doing much better now. If you could comment on that.
Yes, our Ms. Deli is ending her second year as food service director, and we've had a number of very positive changes, and certainly we are coming out on the other side financially. She's still working on participation, which is always a challenge for lunches, but she is trying to expand the breakfast program, and when Wordsworth actually approached her about this, she was very excited to do this.
Okay.
Has there also been an increase in catering internally or for district events?
Thank you for asking that question. Yes, there has been, and it's been at a profit as well.
Okay, any other comments or questions? We had a first and a second. These are the last two items, W and X. See no other comments or questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, moving on to personnel, I believe. Ms. Good?
Yes, I'm going to take the entire personnel report recommendations A through N together. We've talked about these prior. So I'd like to make a motion that we accept A through N. Motions A through
Okay.
N.
Second, Ms. Hester. Okay, this is the entire personnel report, including, I guess, co-curriculars, if we have them. Extracurriculars. Extracurriculars. Okay, any comments or questions on these items? Seeing none, all those in favor of the entire personnel report, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Moving on to policy.
Thank you.
Rothman.
Tonight we have Policy 246. It's for second reading and adoption tonight, as well as 3 administrative regulations, 246, 808, and 810. 246, student wellness, and 808. We needed to update these by law by July. And transportation, of course, corresponds with the new policy that we passed back in May, I believe. We also have one policy for repeal, 905.2, as it's no longer relevant.
Second, Ms. Hester. Okay, comments or questions on the policy section tonight? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, moving on to other business. I think this is the time that we wanted to provide an update to the community on the Sandy Run project.
Sure. So on, what was the date of the, June 8th?
June 8th.
We had the first meeting of the Sandy Run Project Review Committee, whose charter it is to review the work generated by the internal Sandy Run organization committee. I apologize. And that is a committee made up of parents, community members, administrators, representatives from the township, representatives from the commissioners, a wide cross-section of stakeholders, as we believe that the schools are an integral part of the community. So we have a very broad section of people with a tremendous amount of experience on related issues. I'm very excited by the quality of the people who applied. It's always heartwarming to me when we form a committee like this and we see the types of people who sign up. We just have such a tremendous community and so many people who want to be involved, and it really is a wonderful thing, and that really isn't true everywhere. So we're blessed to have that. The committee spent that meeting reviewing the facilities as we have them now at the middle school, understanding what the needs are, so we're all grounded in a common understanding as we move forward with deciding what it is perhaps we should do. The next meeting is June 22nd. Those meetings are open to the public. There is no public comment, but everyone is welcome to attend.
May I just add that all of the information related to the meetings is posted on the website.
And the next meeting's in the Cardinal Room.
Yep,
Thank
we'll
you.
be in
Yes,
here.
that meeting was at Sandy Run and included a lengthy tour. This next meeting and all of the future meetings currently anticipated anyway will be here in the Cardinal Room. We anticipate 3 more meetings, but of course our goal is to get this right, not to get it done on a particular schedule. So if it takes more or fewer, then that's okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from the board on that topic? Okay, at our last legislative meeting, we did do the liaison committee reports, but if there's anything additional to report from any of us, okay, Eastern is meeting this Wednesday, so nothing from me. Okay, we'll move on from there to the solicitor, Mr. Roos.
Thank you. Let me just pull that up. I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware that the immunization requirements that were originally received regulatory approval back in December now have been formally rolled out. They are effective beginning with the 2017-18 school year. They cut the grace period during which students can attend school without required vaccines from 8 months to now 5 days. So this is something that the district will want to make sure it publicizes in advance of school. As far as executive session announcements, I do not believe that last Monday? Last Monday evening or?
Education, May 30th.
May 30th. May 30th regarding personnel.
We will be adjourning tonight to another.
Tonight we will be adjourning tonight for a personnel session regarding threat and litigation.
Okay, moving on to community input. This is our second community input. Kindly step up, state your name and where you reside in the township. Okay. We'll close community input. Closing comments from any of the board members? Anything? Okay, I just want to reiterate how successful Monday night was. Our graduation was wonderful. It was a great evening. The students were great, and it was cooler than we thought it would be. Cooler than we thought. We did lessen the dress code a little bit for our graduates. So, but it was a beautiful night. Great night to be a Cardinal. Moving on to the upcoming meetings. We have an operations meeting tomorrow at 6 o'clock in this room. And our next legislative meeting right now will take place on July 17th. Closing comments again. Anything from the board, Superintendent?
I just want to reiterate one more upcoming meeting is that Senior Run Project Review Committee on the 22nd of June.
Yes, sir. Dr. Wheeler?
Just a reminder that tomorrow morning we will have the promotion ceremony for our 8th graders that will take place in the gymnasium here at 9:30. All board members are invited to attend. And tomorrow afternoon and Friday morning, we will celebrate the promotions of our various 5th grade classes. So congratulations to everyone who graduated and who is moving up. This is truly a special time of the year.
Okay. Seeing no other business in front of the board, motion to adjourn? No motion? Hey, what's sticking around? Okay, Dr. Ludwig, second?
Second.
Ms. Rothman, okay. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay. Thank you for coming tonight. The board will adjourn to an executive session. Open. Quicker than I thought, man.
Sure. We'll actually, I should have said that. We will be scheduling more community tours.